Well, welcome back to Loper Life.
It's only been 3 years, but we're back. We didn't forget about you guys.
It wasn't 3 years. It was April 21st.
April 21st.
So almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months.
Yeah. The time has flown by.
It really has.
I mean, we've been pretty busy.
I would say, but when you're pretty busy, time seems to fly by. I was just thinking the other day. I was like, we need to get back to our people.
We got to get back on it.
And we looked on the. Tristan told me, he's like, it's been like a month and a half since you've
now 2 months.
Yeah, since you've done something. I said, well, let's get it, and here we are.
And you even posted the other day saying one's coming out Saturday night.
Saturday.
I messed that all up, so I take responsibility for that one.
You hear that? Mm-hmm. This time it was Matt's fault.
It was my fault.
And it wasn't my fault. Because usually it's my fault.
No, we're good. So this is our 4th episode of Loper Life.
And you got me in a cowboy hat. No shades yet.
Hey, we want to point out that we're all wearing cowboy hats. And appropriate attire. Yeah, I like it.
Kind of.
We're doing one step at a time. There's a famous YouTuber who says the cowboy uniform, if you're wearing tenny runners, you have to wear a cowboy hat. Luis has got his tenny runners on. If you're wearing boots, you can wear a baseball hat or a cowboy hat. And Luis is wearing his tenny runners today, and he's got appropriate headgear on. And
apparently earlier I didn't, but
we corrected that.
We fixed that. Yeah. So now I'm gonna walk into the roadhouse.
So we got the introduction done here, but we got another guest on the show today. Everybody remembers Hawkins here. He's a young up and comer, just learning.
Everybody say hi, Hawkins. Hi, Hawkins.
You want to introduce our other guest?
Well, and here sitting to my right hand side, we have the man, the myth, the legend. Tristan. How you doing, Tristan? What's your last name, Tristan?
Tristan Ballard.
Tristan Mallard. Ballard. Just kidding. just
Ballard. People call me Tristan Ballard.
Okay. Easy. You heard that, ladies. I want to be a baller. So, Tristan, before we get to it, Tristan's been helping me out for the past, what are we going on now?
A week and a half.
About a week and a half. I've been making.
Started 2 Wednesdays, or I'd say a week and a half.
I've been making Tristan slave away here. Right, I'm making you work all day, all night, like no breaks, no water, no. We're taking good care. Tristan's been nothing but helpful with me.
Well, so what's Tristan here for, though? I mean, why do you need help?
Well,
Luis, I mean, you are Luis Benape. I didn't think you needed help.
No,
what did you? Or at least not that kind of help.
Right. Yeah. Well, Well, I tell you what, it's a funny story. Kind of. I don't know. They called me early in the morning. They said there's someone down there waiting for you at the barn, and I went, okay.
But what? But why? I mean, where's Brady at? That's what I'm getting at.
Where's
Brady and Ashley?
And
Nick at?
Well, if this is okay, so everybody is on their way back from Vegas right now.
And how long have they been there now?
They've been there for about 2 weeks
now.
They left me alone.
I'm not so sure that it wasn't a good call not to take you to Vegas, Luis.
It was the smartest decision they could have ever made. To keep me home.
And not that you wouldn't represent the organization well, because I know you do, but maybe for your bank account.
Oh yeah, no,
I mean,
yeah.
For mine, I say that as a man in my own heart. Like, if I go to Vegas, I'm
going to sting a little bit.
I'm going to come back in a different situation.
Yeah.
And the chances of it being better than when I left
aren't going to be so much. Yeah, I definitely understand that 1,000%. Well, they've been gone for 2 weeks now at the in Vegas.
How many horses do they take?
Oh man, if I tell you I lie, I'm going to go about. I think it was like 13 or something, 13 or 14.
All different kinds of levels, right? Amateur, non-pro,
just about
pro.
A little bit of everything. And Brady, I have it here in my notes. Sorry, it's not paper and pen because now we're in a digital era, and even digital era. Brady won the Intermediate Derby Open with WH Catastrophic, marking a 221. So congratulations, Brady.
Yeah. And
Tracy will be waiting for you when you get back home with a bucket full of treats and a pat on the back for Brady.
No.
But Tristan, tell us how did you find us, and what's your experience like been so far with my crazy ass showing you around the place and showing you around how to get around a horse?
Well, my whole life I've been kind of horses. My grandpa, was a bull rider. My whole family's been into rodeo. My grandma was a barrel racer. My dad showed horses, and my brother right now saddle broncs. So my whole life I've kind of been around horses, and up until I think I wanted to be at first when I was like 3 to I'd say 8. I wanted to be a bull rider.
Yeah.
And then it kind of slowly faded away, and then I wanted to be a saddle bronc rider. But I'd say about a year and a half ago, I started looking at cutting horses. The first one I ever saw was on Yellowstone, and
Yeah.
I immediately fell in love. And my dad told me that my grandma used to do barrel racer and cutting horses. So I kind of asked her about some things, and then I was watching The American, and I saw someone say Brett Davis's name. My dad said that he knows a dude who used to work for him, and so he kind of gave me the hookup.
Kind of gave you the hookup and sent you to the Brady Davis camp.
You know,
Make you lose a bunch of weight, I tell you what.
that's pretty awesome, and that shows the power of those
TV
that was
show,
the
those TV
very
shows
first-
and-
that was the very first American performance horse competition, and Mr. Brett was one of the first guys, judges they introduced, and
Correct.
I was a little stuck my chest out a little bit, like Texarkana, Texas. Like, all right, here we go.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Even though I watched it from the live at home, when they kind of said it, I was up on that couch with my bowl of cereal, like yeah. Right, well, so how has the experience been so far?
It's been
Have I
fun.
been a good teacher? You don't
Yes.
need to lie to these good folks.
Well,
Some of these,
so instead of saying a good
Or
teacher,
two-
let's say, what is there a specific thing that you really enjoyed, and what area do you want to? Is there a certain area you want to improve on?
Things I've really enjoyed is probably the whole cutting aspect, like loping, cutting the horse. That's been fun, and what I want to learn more about is how to get a better seat, because I've been popping out a lot, and there's times I've been doing good, but there's times I haven't been doing good. I want to kind of
find that rhythm.
Get more consistent.
Yeah, find that rhythm. For sure, but every something I love to say, and I've said this for a long time. I read it on a quote. I can't remember where I read it from, so don't come after me. But it always said, every pro was once a beginner. It doesn't matter where you start, but every pro was once a beginner at some point. So I always tell everybody, don't get frustrated, because we were all there one time.
Yep.
At one time, certain point in our life, we were there.
Well, I was watching a guy on the internet the other day, and he was kind of motivational speaking, and he said, "Look, it's not. It's not. Everything is not immediate success. The people that have made it to the top of their game, or whether that's in their local community or at the national level, have failed over and over and over again. And I would submit that you learn more from failure than you do success.
Correct.
Success, you go, man, that went great. But very rarely you go back and go, okay, what went great about that? And is there a spot that I caught it just at the right time to make it a success, to help it make it be
Correct.
to help me be part of the success, versus on a failure, like, man, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this. I
You
gotta
can
do
really
this, I
break
gotta do
down
this.
where you went,
Yeah.
where you went south or AWOL or whatever word you'd like to use in that
Yeah.
aspect, where you can really break everything down. Okay,
Yeah.
it started going south here.
Yep.
What can I do better to improve here, so I can get better here, so I can get to my end goal and my end result, which is going to be over here.
Yep. So,
I agree 1,000%.
you
with
got
failure.
to be thankful for the failures.
Oh yeah, and there's
And
going to
that's
be.
hard, man. That is hard. That takes a lot of maturity, and it takes a lot of.
I still struggle with it.
Yeah.
Like, I try to accept the failures and be like, okay, this is just a learning curve. But I'm Latino, okay? So I got that hot blood in my body.
Yeah.
So I'll get emotional fairly quickly. I bring my emotions into it, and you're not supposed to, especially in the horse industry, and especially when you're working with a horse, you're not
No.
supposed to bring emotion into it. Because once a horse messes with your emotions, they win.
That's a good lesson right there.
So I've tried to.
Well, it starts to influence them in a negative way,
Cor-
right? I mean,
correct.
it's not
Oh,
about
yeah.
the horse isn't trying to win or lose, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm that's more of a question than anything.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
your emotions, positive and negative, have an effect
Will transpire.
on the
Oh,
on
yeah.
the horse. It goes through your body into that horse,
Correct.
And because that horse is and I'm going to get out of my comfort zone a little bit here, but that horse is a prey animal.
Yes.
It is constantly aware of what's going on, and has feelers all over its body to see, to try to sensory organs to try to figure out what's going on. And so, if you're afraid or if you're nervous or you're scared, he or she can feel that.
They're gonna pick up on it, and they're gonna feel that. Well, and they're gonna say, well, what are you scared about?
Yeah.
So then they're gonna start looking at little things here and there and be like, well, he's scared of something, so I should be trembling a little bit, or look, there must be the biggest rabbit elephant mix of a giraffe that I've ever seen hiding in them bushes.
Yeah.
Like the one that jumped out
on the flip side of that, they say those really, really good performance horses they're a showman, or they feed off the crowd's energy, and they continue to do better, and they amp it up. So it doesn't, not only goes negative, but it goes really, really, really positive.
I used to have a horse that they used to say that. I mean, it wasn't a ranch horse or a cutting horse or anything. It was a Pasifino, where you would work him at home, and I'm talking about he would work like complete. Like, he would just ruin your dreams. You're like, man, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's just not working. But by golly, you take that horse to a horse show, and he just turned into a different person. He would, what we call it in Spanish, we say se crece. He would just grow. Like, you'd throw the saddle on him, and he was a puny little thing. But you'd throw the saddle, I mean, that horse was 10 feet tall, and he'd walk into the arena, bowed up, and the cheering and the lights, I mean, he would just give you 1,000%, and you're like, where was this at home? But as you say,
So how did that affect how you train the horse? If you knew that, okay, he's a different horse, he's a different horse in the show arena, and I know what he's capable in the show arena. He's not giving it to me in the practice pen. How does that affect the approach that you have in the practice pen?
I get it would just really, I would just work him in spurts.
Okay.
If that would say, if that says anything, if I know he's not going to give me 100%, after 30 minutes, after 25 minutes, I would take advantage of those first 10, 15 minutes. And, and if he worked really good, hell, there'd be times where I'd saddle him and maybe only ride him 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and he gave me 100%. And I just kind of unsaddle him and take it from there, just because I already knew. And by the time the horse came to me, he was already a seasoned horse. So it wasn't like this was a 3-year-old that I needed to keep riding. This was a seasoned horse that, he could sit in a stall. That horse, I promise you to this day, he could sit in a stall for a whole 2 years or whatever. You could throw a bit on him and jump on his ass bareback, and he'll tiki down the hallway like he ain't never been, like he ain't never lost a day of training. So that it kind of helped me to that advantage, but at the same time we got to work the horse and
you got to keep him in shape.
Correct. You got to keep him in shape, and you might want to tweak something here and there.
Is there anything you can do in the arena? Does loud music help? Does that help replicate that
No, I mean,
at all?
no. Every once in a while, we would have guests come over and we would take them out and just kind of show them off and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, they know when they're at home, and they know when they're at a show. It really just depended on how the horse was working. I really can't say that we had like a training plan, because that would just be a bunch of baloney.
Well, it sounds like you did. I mean,
we had. It wasn't nothing in depth.
Don't be too down on yourself.
Yeah, well, it wasn't nothing in depth, but we would just use stuff to the advantage. So, like, one thing that I used to my advantage was the barn. Horses love coming back to the barn, so I knew he was a little lazy. Yeah. So I'd walk his ass all the way, a good bit. We had a good fence line.
Yeah.
Really nice fence line. You could ride up to the house and to the barn, and so I'd walk him to the barn or trot and just flex and kind of do some warm-up sessions that way. And then I would ask him to gate on the way back to the barn. So he's like, we're going home. So he would give me, he would give me 1,000% because we're going to the barn. So that, I guess if it's one thing that I could say that I've used, I would use that to my advantage. I would use the barn to my advantage. I'd walk him up to the fence line to the house, and on my way back home, I would just be like, give me everything you got, buddy.
Yeah, I like it.
And halfway there, I'd stop them and maybe flex some figure eight or whatnot. But
I've got a really bad story about a horse running back to the barn.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Tell you about it. Okay, so a friend of mine, and we were in high school, and a friend was a barrel racer, and we went out to the.
Stay away from them can chasers, folks. They'll get you into some trouble.
I think that goes across the board for a lot of different things beyond just barrel racing. But we were out at my dad's place riding, and my dad and her dad were there. All the families were there, and they were getting ready to put their horses back in the trailer, but we wanted to cool them off a little bit, so we rode out. No saddles, no bridles,
Oh yeah.
all the way out to, we were about a half a mile away.
John Wayne and
Well,
that shit.
we turned around. It was great. Like, nice day, you know, sun setting about like it is right now. And we turned back around. And those horses smelled the barn. I mean, they hadn't been there a whole day. They hadn't been there 4 hours. And they knew
They
it was
knew where
time
their
to go
friends were.
home. Yeah. They knew it was time to go home. They knew we were going in the trailer next. And those horses took off running. And I rode them. I held my own for a little bit. Those barrel racing horses are fast.
Are they
And,
now?
yeah.
I would have never. I would have never put two and two together there.
Get them in a straight line, they can run. And we were getting into the corrals and the pens, and I was like, if I'm going to jump off,
This is it.
this is the soft spot right here. I got some grass right there, so I pitched it.
You hit
And
the
she
abort
ro-
button.
Yeah, I pulled the eject handles, and she rode her horse all the way into the house, and she got it to stop. But it was, you know, anytime you have a wreck like that,
Fine.
yeah,
Fine.
that's
All
right.
is well. No, I'm fine.
Hawkins, what do you think? You ever fallen off a horse before? No.
Not yet.
Yeah, we
I haven't
celebrate.
spooked one hard enough.
Yeah. Well, we had a couple of chances today, right? He had all kinds of stuff going on French fry. We had hammering from fixing panels, and birds flying out of trees.
I don't know who was more stressed, French fry or me. That horse, he would have a, he would start doing
Yeah,
his.
we'd be having a different conversation on the podcast.
Yeah, he'd have his little meltdown. I would just walk over to Hawkins. I'd be like, you know what? Just shut it down. Just walk. Do something. Like, obviously they're not done yet.
Yeah.
They're-
Well, we had a big positive thing happen this past weekend for Hawkins. Had his first dummy roping event.
His first dummy
Yeah,
roping
went to
event.
when we went to we were spectating at a team roping event.
Yeah, I
And
think
they
I
had-
went the following day.
Yeah, out at the Four States Fair.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
really neat arena out there. We're going to get some cutting horse event going on out there.
One day.
No, that's on my bucket list. But I was really proud of him. He went out there with some 10 to 12 year old in an age group. They're out there. They're actually doing the team roping. You know, they're riding in the event, and we're pretty new to it. And so Hawkins, we had our little calf rope that we have at the house, and we'd been practicing. He went out there and he held his own. I was really proud of him.
That's awesome.
What did you think of that event, Hawkins?
Well, what do
Pretty
you?
fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, there was some good competition.
So some of those boys and girls were really good, weren't they?
Yeah.
And
Good looking.
and they all did really well. They went to a certain point, and then they started. They went to slick horns. At first, it was just rope them how you get them,
Bless you.
and
Yeah.
then they went to slick horns.
Yeah, you got to
and,
slick horn them.
And then people started dropping out really quick. Then,
Man,
you know,
did you slick horn them?
no.
Did you hear
he
I
I got out
stuttered.
before that.
You got
No.
out.
was-
Gosh, darn it.
right, the one throw before he was out, but I'm really proud of him.
Well, we're proud of you, Hawkins. Hell, you might need to teach me a thing or two.
You're the one that taught me everything.
Oh, okay. You guys heard that, lady.
I don't get any credit.
Oh,
What the heck?
Never mind.
It's easy.
So, Tristan.
Back to me.
Before I ask him this question, you know what Tristan told me the other day? He pulled me to the side. He said, "Luis, I have a Loper game idea."
Yeah, what's
Because
that?
he found our podcast. We were chit chatting, and I told him that, hey man, do you want to become a guest? and so he was like, sure. So he did some investigating. He listened to our podcast, and he heard the Loper games one first.
Okay.
And Tristan, I don't remember. You tell me. Do you remember? I do remember, but I'd rather you say it.
I think that there should be like a reining event, like the Lopers get together and they rein to see who
So
can,
like
have the
raining,
best stop.
or do you want the Lopers to cut?
Probably both, like either or, because I want to like see like the Lopers get together and whoever has the best stop gets the highest score, or we could have like the Lopers cut.
I like
So like a Loper cut off,
Yeah.
or like
well,
a
just an event that you have to be a loper
Correct.
for a trainer. So not unlike a
the
youth
the
event
trainers will be loping
Yeah.
for us.
or a first buckle.
Yeah.
No buckle competition.
Yeah, exactly,
The qualification to get in
Yeah.
the event is you have to be a loper for a trainer there at that event.
Correct.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
I thought
Yeah.
it was a great idea as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I think the more you can get people involved, the better. I mean, certainly there's an aspect of when you're involved the horse and the loper games, you know, there's a whole nother aspect of
I'll call you later, Nick. I'm on a podcast.
that brings a whole nother aspect to it. But I do like it is there opportunity for a Loper cutting
Yeah.
qualification.
I thought that was pretty. When he brought it up, I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great idea, honestly. Screw them stick horses.
Yeah.
Or we could
but
just
you know
cut the
what?
cow on a stick horse. I think.
Hey, that could be entertaining right there. I mean, you got
Fast
Nick
enough.
Nick who just called you. He
wrestled one.
wrestled one. He did steer wrestling in a cutting event.
In
I mean,
fairness,
that's pretty-
he had a little bit of courage in his.
Well, remember
Liquid courage.
remember the target audience here, Luis.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, he wouldn't have done that without that 7-Up.
Oh, you don't think so? You don't
No.
You don't think Nick could have done it?
What?
I got no.
Nick,
You don't have any faith
if
in
a
Nick?
heifer snorted the wrong way, Nick would freaking run the other way.
No.
To a certain degree.
I like it. I like that. I like that idea. Could be a lot of fun. I'm still on the Loper. Nobody's called us about Loper games yet.
That's okay, because we haven't pushed it hard enough.
Yeah.
We're gonna start pushing it now hard.
Maybe.
Call all these weekend
Yeah.
shows or something.
Yeah.
Something
Do
that's
Loper
nearby
games.
over in
Yeah.
West Monroe or New Roads. Well,
Yeah. I mean, it could be something silly like egg toss. You know.
yes.
I mean, you can do an egg toss. You know, in
You
between
don't
while they're
wanna trust
settling
me.
cattle, just do an egg toss. You know. Well, if you want to win, you're not going to do that. I mean, if you want the buckle at the end of it, the first annual Loper Games,
First annual
Then-
Loper Games egg
then-
toss buckle.
yeah,
We're
then
gonna
you-
have a big spoon and egg on the buckle as the design.
could be.
I
I
mean,
mean, I hadn't worn a buckle yet, so
I can only imagine-
if that's the one I had to wear, then I'd wear it.
where'd you get that buckle, sir? Is that an egg?
That's right. All right,
Tristan-
so
Uh-huh.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask him if he's ready. You know, it's been a week and a half, and I don't think ready is the word, but are you ready to tackle on the responsibility when Brady and them get back? You know, of really being a loper and getting horses loped down and
Yes, sir.
you know, all the fun stuff.
Yes, sir.
Well, how far do you want to go with this thing?
That's where
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's where I was going with my
Yeah.
question. I just didn't know how to. You got to bear with
Yeah.
me. How far do you want? Where do you see yourself?
I see myself doing this professionally, like that, as a full-time thing, because I will continue doing this agreement until I can't anymore.
Yeah.
That's how I go about life. Keep doing it until you can.
Yeah. Well, and I would submit too, and this is from my personal experience, and speaking about where I'm at right now. You know, just because you know, life is about phases too, and
That's
you
what I
can
told
you,
him.
you can have an ultimate goal. You can visualize yourself doing something, and it's not always a linear straight line. There are phases, and sometimes, hey, in order for me to do this thing, I need sometimes it's just money in the bank.
Yeah.
And so I got to go do this other thing. But you know, we're really blessed to have a place like this in our hometown that we can come to and continue to learn. I came over the other day for Hawkins' lesson, and I found a water trough that was leaking.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, hey, Brett, the water trough's leaking. Let me turn the water off for you. He said, yeah, I'll fix it tomorrow. And I texted him back and said, well, I needed to do something to earn my cowboy hat this week.
So I'll go ahead and just shut that
Yeah,
off for
exactly. So, you know, what I would tell you is don't eliminate any options, and kind of keep your eye on that ultimate goal as long as you can, as long as that's what you want to do. And you know, it's okay to zigzag. We had another saying in work where if you're on the West Coast and you think you want to go to New York, well, okay, start moving now. There's a lot of ground to cover, and if you get to Missouri and you go, you know, maybe New York's not where I want to go, but Charleston, South Carolina sounds really cool, and I want to start doing that. Well, you know, that's a pretty small correction.
Correct.
When you're in Missouri, and then when you get to South Carolina, you may go, you know, maybe really where I want to be is Virginia Beach or maybe I even want to go to Florida. Well, you
Yeah.
just keep on going.
You don't want to
And
go to
so,
Florida.
So keep that in mind as you're getting your feet into this industry, because it's not. We've talked about this on previous podcasts. The barriers to entry can be challenging,
Yes.
and so
Well,
just
and
keep your eye on the goal.
And I told him, we were actually having this conversation somewhat this morning. I was telling him that focus on what do you see yourself and what do you want? Focus on what you want. I said, because it'll all zigzag. It'll all vary. Like for the longest time, I thought I was going to be a Pasifino trainer, like my whole life. And then I found more doors opening in the horse world, and I was like, there's some cooler shit out there than just some horses tiki-tikiing. So then I just took the advantage of learning as much horsemanship as I could, as many disciplines as I could, and at all the disciplines, I ended up just picking my favorite, cutting, and here I am, 10 years later down the road after aspiring and soaking in all that mentorship and all that horsemanship. Now I'm putting it to use somewhere. But for the longest time, I thought I was going to be here, and now I look back and I'm like, holy crap, I'm over here. I'm on a way different spectrum than I thought I was going to be. But as long as you keep pushing for it, nothing in this world is handed down. So as long as you drive and you work for it and you get it, it'll all come.
Yep.
It'll all come. You just got to work for it. Right, Hawkins? That's all I'm saying, folks. That's all we're saying. And I tell you what, we've been doing some stuff around here, around the house.
Yeah,
Or
y'all are
around the
doing-
barn. I say I live here, so this is around the house.
Y'all are talking about loping horses and doing that, but y'all've been doing a whole lot more than just loping horses around here.
I have been on the Bobcat. Let me
Yeah.
tell you something about the Bobcat, man. I can be on a Bobcat all day long. I loved it. Now, I might have messed up here or there.
But it wasn't anything that couldn't be fixed, right?
Oh, yeah, I might have just gone too deep and made a moat in the cow pens, but it's fixed. But yeah, no, we had a little bit of a hill, we tie those two, them 2-year-olds, and I leveled all that ground up.
Yeah,
I
that's
pulled
real
some
good.
dirt off the arena
Got
walls.
some trees out.
We
Yeah.
knocked some trees down
Yeah.
today. We put some rock in some cow pens. I mean, we've just been going.
Yeah, this place looks great.
Oh,
Great.
Just been going. That's
Christian, beyond what is there anything that surprised you beyond what you see, your experience coming in about just riding?
I speak
about
English.
other things that go into to this lifestyle.
I'd say it's riding. I always thought cutting horses like you mainly control the horse.
Yeah.
But I've learned that it's the horse and you're just hitting him with your leg every
Mhm.
once in a while.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about riding the cutting horses is probably cut or flagging it.
Yeah.
And that's been really fun because that's helping me with my legs, get my legs stronger. Working out in the gym is also helping me get my legs stronger. And so
Well, what about off the horse on the ground with just general maintenance in general? Is there anything
Washing.
else that do you have a favorite other chore that has to get done? Whether that's, I don't know if you got to ride the Bobcat or washing horses or
washing
any of that.
He liked to grab the rake.
Yeah, do a little raking.
Yeah, he likes to rake. He got a little blister, He had to go. He had to go in his purse for some Band-Aids, but
It wasn't a purse, it was the tack room.
Now, I'd encourage you to find that other thing that you enjoy because it's not
saddle.
all riding.
golf.
It's not,
Okay. On the horse aspect
Yeah,
of it.
on the horse
Yeah.
aspect. It's
Saddle's
not all
been
riding
fun.
horses.
Well, it's
For me.
okay. When these folks come back, Nick's gonna
Yeah.
introduce them to cleaning boots,
Yeah. Yeah.
cleaning cinches, cinches.
Yeah.
Cinches. Sometimes I forget how to speak English.
I'd say for me, probably saddling and
Yeah.
learning about the different reins have been
Yeah.
fun. Because normally whenever on my horse, don't talk about that. I know exactly what you're gonna say. I'd say because the horse that I have, we only use split reins, so learning about the snapple bits
Yeah.
and the smooth, all that.
The appropriate bits to use for what horse and why.
Did you know?
Oh my gosh.
Did you know that a bit goes in a horse's mouth?
I mean, I don't know. I know a little bit. I know enough to get myself in trouble. I can't say that I've ever seen one out of the mouth.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Just in case,
yeah,
you know.
Just in case.
Yeah.
For all,
Some folks,
Who are you talking about?
I don't know, but you know, some.
I mean,
I'm not gonna say any names.
I've seen some people go out and do things without a bit the horse.
Yeah.
They could They could
like
be
Trevor
just trying to
Brazili,
train the horse.
You know, he roped without
They're
a.
trying to test the horse, like see if that's what they could be doing.
Oh, desensitizing.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
Yes, that's what
gotcha,
they could
gotcha.
be
Is
doing.
that's what they call it nowadays? Desensitizing. Okay.
I'd encourage you. The reason I asked that question is, like I said, it's not all about riding the horse. Is kind of like the icing on the cake, and so you got to build that. There's all kinds of other stuff that goes into the cake besides the icing. And for me, I really enjoyed building fences and taking care of the saddles. And so,
cleaning
you know,
saddles.
find that. Look for that other thing that you can be value added, because when Brady gets back, and no matter where you go, they're going to want to see what your work ethic is before they put you on
Well, it's
a
not just
horse
about
or
riding,
some of their more advanced horses. They're going to want to know who you are and where you come from, and what your work ethic is. So, you know, if you can get good at that other thing to make yourself value added, not only to the horse that you're riding, but the program that you're supporting, and that could potentially come into either another source of income or another skill that you offer whoever you're working for, to say, hey, I know I can clean a saddle really good,
Yep.
or I can build a fence really good, or I can drive a trailer really good. I mean, that's something that yeah, find that
Clean a stall really good. Something.
You know,
I'd say also
and
doing
some of those chores aren't any fun. And
Someone's
cleaning
gotta
boots
do
is
it.
not, but somebody's got to do it. And if you can be the guy that's going, hey, I'll clean every boot you got.
Yeah.
That'll impress a lot of people.
I try to help Nick a lot with them boots, but he won't let me, and two, he's just really damn good at it. I'll tell you what, I'll clean a boot, and I'm like, I got this, and and Nick will come out, and he'll have his. I mean, they will be folded just right, or like strapped just. I mean, and I'll just be like,
He's good at it.
okay,
Yeah.
whatever. He'll come, and I'll say, Nick, can I help you clean boots? And he'll be like, you can pass them to me. Okay. Here you go, sir.
All right, so I think we've been going about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Any life advice?
Any final words,
Any
Hawkins?
final words, Hawkins? Anything you want to?
No.
No? Yesterday was Father's Day, man. Come on. You could have said Happy Father's Day.
Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yes.
My father, wherever you're
Yeah,
at.
there you go.
No, I'm just kidding. I know where he's at. I had some girl text me last night. She said, Happy Father's Day. I said,
Uh-oh.
There's a random number that texted me too.
Uh-oh. Hawkins?
It must be the same
Yeah,
girl.
We'll talk about this later.
Yeah, Hawkins, why you got somebody texting you?
Tristan, what about you?
I'm kidding,
Anything,
first of all.
Any final thoughts, life advice?
I'd say my whole thing I live by is keep doing what you want to do until you can't
Yeah,
anymore.
that's right. I like it.
Don't squat with your spurs on,
Yeah. That's always good.
especially
Yeah,
if you got rock grinders.
For me, it's all about find something you're passionate about, find something you believe in, and keep your eye on that. Don't let all the distractions get to you, and everything will work out.
Well, I'll quit being a silly goose. Like I said earlier, every pro was once a beginner.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up. Be humble enough to suck for as long as you need to be great. That's always been kind of my little philosophy. Every pro was once a beginner. Don't beat yourself up. It's all part of a process. It'll all fall into play. Brady tells me it's like a roller coaster, like a little roller coaster ride. You got your high peaks, you got your good peaks, and then eventually it'll come down. But it'll all come back up, and it'll be on a nice little level. And every once in a while, but when it falls, that means you're doing something right, because you got to tweak something.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Righto,
Well,
y'all.
So I'm going to go ahead and put this one out here because we're going to hold it. That way we can hold ourselves to it. But I really want to get Mr. Brett on the podcast. So that'll be the next one.
That'll
we
be the
do,
next
is
one.
We'll
Next
coordinate
week.
with him. We'll get some questions for him, and
I think that'll be great.
I think that'd be really good. And then we also got to get Brady on here too.
Yeah.
But let's get Mr. Brett on here. I think that'd be a fun.
I think we could really pick his brain with stuff.
Yep. All right. Well, everybody, I'm holding ourselves to that. It's good to put a mark on the wall, That way we don't wait 2 months before
Yeah.
we do our.
In
before
fairness, we
do our
did get
fifth one.
busy.
Yeah. But we appreciate everybody tuning in and watching some of those podcasts. Some of our episodes have got.
We got a few views.
For me, they've got a few views.
Yeah, I agree.
Not comparatively to other ones, but I'm like, oh, look, mackerel. Some of them
Yeah.
actually got some
Well,
views.
and I figured
Two
we're
people
doing.
watch this thing.
Yeah. Well, and we're doing something somewhat weird, I'm guessing. I'll go to the shows, and there's a gentleman that he'll call me Loper Life.
Yeah.
He'll be like, "What's up, Loper Life?" I'm like, "What's going on, sir? Doing all right?" And I'm like, I'm nothing crazy, but
We're trying.
yeah, exactly.
We got started on the road trip, and we don't know where this thing's taking us, but
But we're just
going.
hanging on right
Yep.
now.
Yep.
But I've had a few people text me, and kind of be like, "Where's it at?" And so that's why I've been in contact with you the past few days. I'm like, we gotta
do this.
We gotta throw another one out there.
Yep.
Might be a little lengthy, but that's okay.
All right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in, and what do we say? Keep cutting.
Keep cutting.